Yes, so in one of the sessions I think we might have used the term to give more intelligence to the breath. Actually to a beginner that is not an instruction that should be given, so it must have slipped out, and no instruction should be given if it is going to cause confusion. What it means as a beginner, or not, let us say as the first step of how one learns to work with the breath, is to just become aware that we are breathing, that we are inhaling and that we are exhaling. So, the correct instruction would be not to give intelligence to your breath, but just to become aware of your breath, and that itself brings about a huge change, and that itself needs a lot of practice, because we are over 30, 40, 50 years we have built up a habit of not noticing our breath. It happens automatically, and most of the times it happens suitably, so we do not have to think about it. But this is a conscious learning process where we have to learn to bring our attention to the breath. So, that is the first step of working with the breath. If you are planning to proceed to pranayam, etc. eventually. Now, asanas are a very beautiful laboratory to do this, because in the different asana position the breath itself will change. So, how your breath is in shavasana versus how it is in an inverted position versus how it is in a forward bend or a back bend, the breaths are very different. So, if we can just cultivate that habit of watching our breath, so every time it will slip out of our consciousness, either we will be focusing on physical actions, how is my arm, how is my leg, or we will not be focusing on anything, or we will be feeling very tired. So, every now and then therefore, we have to consciously bring our attention back to the breath. How is the inhalation, how is the exhalation? Sometimes there might be pauses between the inhalation and exhalation, where you might notice that you are neither inhaling nor are you exhaling. So, that is the step 1 of breath work, is to just bring awareness to the breath, and if we can just cultivate that practice, that it by itself is a huge gain. As I was telling you, the first experience or the first let us say learning about the breath is that we have to keep our attention to the breath, and well, it is not written down anywhere, so I am just talking from my own experience. I think that the second part of learning to work with the breath is knowing that the breath is not just limited to the respiratory system. We do not need to necessarily feel the breath only in the lungs and in the nostrils or somewhere in the chest or even in the abdomen. So, we can feel the breath in the back body, we feel the breath in the arms, we feel the breath in the pelvis, we feel the breath in our thighs, we feel the breath in our face and in our heads. So, that is the next part of, so if you have progressed to there, it means it is definite progress. The breath is like a vehicle for awareness. Yes, it is a much more sensitive vehicle than our arms and legs. So, it is a very good sign of progress, I think, along the path of increasing sensitivity. Thank you for sharing that, Mahesh.